It's good. I missed this event last year, licking my wounds from Pinehurst, but I made a commitment to travelers to be back this year. So, I'm excited to be back. I think, the weeks after major championships and these events, sometimes when you're in contention and you're trying to win them, it can feel quite difficult to go play the next week. But, after a week like I had at Oakmont last week, where you're not quite in the mix, but you might feel like you found something in your game, you're excited to come back and play again. So, looking forward to the week. This is the perfect sort of chaser for what Oakmont was last week, and nice to get out on a golf course where you feel like you can make quite a few birdies. I think it's important every week. There's certain things I think everyone's got their own way of recovering from, grueling weeks. But I think they're just like the little habits that you pick up along the way, whether it's physical or whether it's mental or getting away from it and, giving yourself a little bit of time to recharge. But, I think it's important to take care of yourself physically and mentally to, especially when you play these big events and there's a lot of pressure and expectation. It is important to get away from all that as well. I certainly like to unwind and have a glass of wine on a Sunday night, so I wouldn't say that's the best recovery modality, but certainly Mondays are where I try to get back into or give myself that day. I think Mondays in between tournaments are quite important as a reset. So that's what I try to do. I've always wanted to go to India, and the European Tour and DP World created a new event there. So I was asked at the start of the year would I be interested in going, and I said that sounds amazing. It's in the Hero Indian Open's always like it's like March, April time. So I'd love to go play DLF and, try to, figure my way around that place. But, this one in Delhi in October made more sense. I've always loved the Australian Open. I've won there before. I played there as an amateur in the Australian Open, qualified for it, went through a qualifier in 2005, got through like a 9-man playoff to get in. So I've always had a huge affinity for that part of the world. So to go back, especially, Royal Melbourne this year, Kingston Heath next year, two of the best golf courses in the world on the Sandbelt. That's awesome too. But that's the part of the year where we have the opportunity to travel and to do these things. And if it makes sense for the schedule, and especially, look, I'm excited to, there's never been a green jacket in India before. So to bring the green jacket to India is something that's going to be really cool. To go back to the Australian Open, I won that in 2013. Adam and I had a great battle down the stretch on the last day. He was the Masters champion at that point. So I don't know. I like to travel. I like to play in different parts of the world, and I've never been to India. I haven't been to Australia in 10 years. So it's nice to go back to these places.